welcome to the Xperia S review. We'll start by comparing it to the iPhone 4S for size comparison purposes. You can see here that the Xperia S is not the thinnest smartphone on the block, but it is comparable to the iPhone 4S. And the 4.3-inch screen meets right in the middle of not too small and not too big, and there it is compared to the 3.5-inch iPhone 4S. Now let's add the Galaxy Note in the mix, where that is the biggest smartphone to date right now. So people that love a mid-sized smartphone would love this phone. So let's take a look at the hardware of the Xperia S. On the left-hand side here, you have a micro USB port, but this is the one thing I didn't like about this phone on the design is this flimsy little door that covers the USB port and the HDMI port. This is just bound to get broken somehow, and I just really didn't like it. But when it's flush, it does look good on the device. Here is the power button and the 3.5mm headphone jack. And there's the HDMI port there, along with the same door, the volume rocker, and the awesome dedicated camera key, which I love. And on the bottom here, you will see a lanyard port with a microphone. And on the back, you will see the lovely 12 megapixel Exmor R sensor on the back, along with the LED flash. And here's a speaker, along with the second microphone. And let's take the back off, and you would think there would be a removable battery along this door, but it just does not make sense because this battery is sealed in. And there is a micro SIM card slot there, and that's about it. No micro SD expansion, which is a disappointment, especially with the door. There was no reason why this door should even be here, but it does slide on and off very easily. So there is a quick hardware tour of the Xperia S. Even though the Xperia S is running a 2.3.7 gingerbread, it is extremely responsive, even with the skin on top. And you can see even with the live wallpaper running in the background, it just does not stutter at all. The touch is very responsive, no stutters whatsoever, and it is a pleasing experience overall. Let's go into the gallery real quick and show you some of the Facebook inside Xperia features that's on Xperia phones. You can see all your Facebook pictures show up in your gallery, so that's a neat way to congregate all your Facebook pictures and all your images. And right there you can share whatever applications that you like, so you post that to Facebook. So that's also pretty cool. I've never seen that on any other phone before. Probably not anything you're really going to use, but I think it's a neat feature. And here is Timescape, where you will be able to see all your Facebook and Twitter congregated in one place in a carousel type fashion, but for some reason it's not working on my phone right now. But something I never use, but I think that's also kind of neat if you like to congregate all your social stuff into one program. So let's take a look at the browser. For a lot of people want to see what the browser's like. On mobile sites, it is extremely fast, and the scrolling and everything is very responsive. Let's go to the Gadget site. So here's the mobile version of Gadget. Very fast, very fluid. So the web browsing overall is pretty good. Now let's go to something a little bit more graphics heavy, like Android Central. And this is the only problem that I've had with this browser since I've been using other products such as the Galaxy Note. And you will notice a difference if you've had a Samsung Galaxy S2 or something like that, where the pages is loading and the touch and zoom response is not as smooth as it should be. You can see here it's still loading up. You can see a little bit of choppiness here on the pinch to zoom, and it's not as responsive. But if you wait here for all the flash elements, as you can see here in the background, to load up, then it becomes responsive. So this is probably something that Ice Cream Sandwich will fix. I guess we'll see what happens once Ice Cream Sandwich gets pushed to this device. But let's take a look at this screen, which is the star of the show here. And let me focus in on this. And you cannot see a single pixel on that screen. This screen is amazing, guys. You will not be disappointed in this screen. It makes web browsing or anything on this phone a joy to use. The colors are great. The viewing angles could be a little bit better, but the resolution and text and photos look great. And if you look right here, you cannot distinguish a single pixel. It is the best screen I have seen on a mobile device so far, and I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. It is a great screen. Here are what the favorites look like on the call list, which I love. And you can see that there are folders here, and this is Gingerbread, but they included folders in it, which I like. And here is the music app. And one interesting thing about this music app is that you have the playlist and everything, but you have an equalizer that you can control your sound with, which I really liked. And you have clear bass, so you can turn up the bass on it. And there's xLoud. So this is something that's comparable to maybe Beats Audio from HTC, but I really enjoyed it. And the headphones that were included in the Xperia S as well, they were pretty high quality for headphones that were included. Here's a quick access widget, which I found myself using a lot, and these are some of the little tweaks in the Gingerbread ROM that I liked. So let's talk about this big 12 megapixel camera that is included in the Sony Xperia S. And the one thing that I've noticed that this does very well is take macro pictures, which some cameras do not take good macro pictures. But take a look at this pen real quick, and let me show you the quality of the macro pictures. And the shutter is also extremely fast. Focus is fast too. So there we go, and take that shot. And it is extremely detailed on macro, so I really like the macro shots that come out of here, and it does very good on just auto-focusing as well. You can see how detailed that is. And let me show you how detailed it is by showing you the actual shot here. And here's some of the other sample shots that were taken with the Xperia S. You can see the colors are accurate, and it is comparable to the other cameras out there. I wouldn't say it took better pictures than something like the Samsung Galaxy S2 or the iPhone 4S. And here on low light pictures, you can see it's a little bit grainy, but overall, it's a great camera. And what I loved about this is you can get better shots by having so much manual control. If you look at the scenes, you can get landscape or night portrait, and you can change the white balance and whatever else that you need to change to get a better shot. And you can see that's included here is the 3D features, panorama, multi-sweep angle. So those are nice to have. Let me show you an example of those. So up top you can see there's a separate part here. And if you have an HD TV, you can, especially a 3D HD TV, you can see these via HDMI. But even here, you can have it play in a movie fashion. And here's just a shot I took of the field. And you can see what that looks like. But interesting is if you don't have a 3D TV, here's sweep multi-angle. And if you take it just like the 3D shots. But if you look at it, I don't know if it'll translate to camera, but if you turn the angle a little bit, it gives you that 3D effect. You can see the clouds and the trees, they're moving a little bit, so you can have that effect on your phone. The Sony Xperia S's 720p screen utilizes the same Bravia engine that they use in their HD TVs. The color replication is great, the colors just pop right off the screen, and viewing multimedia on this device is exactly what Sony wanted us to do, where you can see how nice these pictures look. And also videos look fantastic on this screen as well. And you can see how cinematic this video looks that they've included. Another question is, what about gameplay on this device? For the Snapdragon S3 is a last generation Qualcomm processor, especially with the S4 right around the corner. Let's take a look at Shadowgun and see how that runs. So far I have had no problems running any game on the Xperia S, but let's take a look at Shadowgun so you can take a look. And you can see right here that the games look great on this 720p screen. And the one thing that I loved about the Xperia S is the speaker. And the true testament to the speaker, it is a great speaker for multimedia. You can see how loud that is. Let me turn it down a bit. Alright, let's get on to the gameplay here, and you can see how smooth the graphics are. There are no stutters, no lags, and the frames per second is great. There are no problems with gameplay. I know some people are afraid of the S3 processor and the Adreno 220 graphics as being last gen, but I've had no problems playing any game on this. So I wouldn't be afraid of the graphical power of the Xperia S. Here's another interesting feature of the Xperia S. I have a normal Samsung remote and a Samsung HD TV behind me, and I have the Xperia S hooked up via HDMI, and you can see with this remote I can control the on-screen menu, which is neat. And you can go onto Facebook, Gallery, YouTube, or whatever you want from here. So this is a neat interface that they have put on via HDMI. So this turns your Xperia S into a little computer per se. So you can web browse with full screen web browsing, and you can actually share your photos or show people the pictures that you took that day. The photos look great on the TV, and you can see that it shows up native resolution of 1280 by 720, which the phone supports. So it looks great on the output of the TV. And here is an example of the HD movie, and you can see how great that looks. So the question is, should you buy this phone? It has an amazing screen. It also has an amazing design that nobody else has. It's got a great 12 megapixel camera, and it's got good call quality. But it has a weak speakerphone, and it has mediocre battery life and no replaceable battery. It's got no ice cream sandwich, and the upgrade just got pushed back. And you have to get used to those capacitive buttons. So, if you can look past some of these quirks, I really do think that the Xperia S is one of the best phones on the market today. I just really wish it would have came with the S4 processor. Since this phone is a little under $600 unlocked, it's hard to recommend a phone like this when something like the HTC One X is right around the corner with a quad-core processor and comparable camera technology or better. It would have been a great phone last year, but in 2012, I'm not sure if this phone could be the flagship that Sony wanted it to be. But if you decided to purchase it, I don't think you'd be disappointed in it. Please subscribe to my channel and continue to watch my videos. Thank you.